Hey Gary, what are you doing?
Getting ready to work on this 6-7.
What's up with this sweatshirt? Where's the Automatic sweatshirt?
I don't know.
Did somebody steal yours?
Yeah, somebody stole it.
Well, I guess we're getting that popular.
Yeah.
Well, we got a 07 F350 and we have what sounds like up pipes leaking, but it's not. So we drove it. What does it sound like, Gary?
Terrible.
I got a video clip of it right here. It did have up pipe leaks, so we had a mixture of sounds going on here. I cured up part of it. I'll show y'all here in just a little bit. Actually, I'll just show you right now. You'll notice on the first cylinder right there from the back. So this thing obviously has some oil leaks, but look how dry it is right there on there, because that's where that exhaust leak is coming from. I'll zoom y'all in so you can see it. Right there. You can see where it's been blowing exhaust out. This does have a gasket on it, so that means that this exhaust manifold has already been off. They didn't come with gaskets from the factory. You can barely see it sticking out there. So the easiest way to go after this is go through the fender well here. Gary's getting our fender liner out. You got 7/32 all the way around your edge here. 8mm, 8mm, and it's supposed to be 8mm up here, which they're gone. Undo your ABS line. It's usually hanging down here, which I found that on this truck the other day, getting melted on the exhaust manifold. I zip tied that up there. And you usually have little push pins right here, which they're gone too. So we're gonna get this inner fender well out, and then I'll show y'all the manifold, how you get to it. All right, so what I forgot to mention is you got some 11mm right here. It's also missing one of the studs back there, but pull these 11mm. That's for your vacuum pump. One part right here is the bitch.
Sometimes it's hard to get the fender well out. But he got it.
All right, you got to undo your up pipe bolts. That's this in particular is a 12mm head on the bolt, 13 on the nut. If yours is factory, I think it's a 10 and a 12. I think a 10 and a 12 is what factory is. Oh no. All right, we got both of our up pipe bolts loose. You're gonna wanna get your transmission dipstick tube out of the way on the passenger side here. It's just a 10mm right there, 10mm nut, if it will focus, right there. But before I do that, take some of this good quality, what do you call this, penetrating oil slither. We're going to just shoot all of these and let them soak while we start taking that dipstick tube off. And we're going to say a little prayer here. We're going to have a prayer meeting and none of these bolts break. It's not the end of the world if they do. It's just way faster if they don't. So let me get this dipstick tube off. All right, so I just stuck the, sure, a lot of this red wire that's right here in the way. Don't y'all tell me what you think of that red wire. That's how I like to wire things. Anyways, so I just stuck the extension in the socket up here, thinking I was getting ready to really break something loose, and well, what do you know, look at there. I mean, I have to work with my fingers, but I mean, you can see the spacer there, it's just spinning. And then this one, I just put this 10mm ratchet wrench on. No effort, got it to spin. Now granted it's tighter than that one, but this is where it's leaking. So me and Gary just sat here and discussed. I was like, well, what's the right thing to do? Do you just torque it up and see if it leaks again? Of course, now it's been blowing past that gasket the whole time, so I would think it's probably not gonna seal back up. So I'm gonna go on and get these broke loose I guess I'll show y'all backing them out, even though there's nothing special about it. So I will say, if you're in the rust belt, you're going to be dealing with the extractor tool on this. Like I mentioned, Lyle's tool makes a nice one for drilling these out and extracting them. This is one of these jobs that is much drastically easier on a 6.0 versus a 7.3, because the 7.3 does not have these little shoulder spacers, so the bolt tends to get corroded, because this part would usually be made onto a manifold on a 7.3, so the bolt gets rusted all inside of this shoulder here, and you're fighting the threads and the corrosion here on the 7.3. So this is a much better design on the 6.0 versus the 7.3. They did not come with an exhaust manifold gasket from the factory, so you know this has at least had a head job or something done in the past probably, and they put a gasket on here. I feel that gasket wiggle in between there even when I do that. So anyways, get these bolts out and get on with it. I'm underneath it, and you can see we have access to all of our lower bolts here. I think this is the combination we're going to use, 3/8 deep 10 millimeter. I think it's going to work pretty good. You're going to want to disconnect your batteries if you're on this side. We've already done that, but right here by the starter be a great way to start a fireworks show down here if you don't. So I'm going to get these loose. We're going to pull this manifold out. All right, so the second back from the front, this is the easiest way to get to it, over the shock tower. Gary's talking to me about a Fox body he's watching. But this is the easiest way to get to this one. The two back ones get to from the bottom. It's easier. You can feel up underneath here and get on them. I prefer to see them, and it's a little bit easier to get some torque on them from the bottom down there, but you could do them off from the top if you had to. It's not the easiest thing. All right, we got the exhaust manifold out. We're not out, but we're about to pull it up. There's where we're leaking right there. What do you think of that, Gary? Yeah, real nice. Stupid. There she is. A lot lighter than a 7.3 exhaust manifold. All right, so we are not replacing our exhaust manifold. I cleaned our surfaces all up, which looks great, which the reason why I cleaned them up is because I know this is not like a true straight edge, but this table's relatively flat. And you can see, I have no reason to think this is warped. We're ordering the Felpro, or the Felpro composite gasket is on its way here. It actually has like a crush ring that kind of goes right around this area, and the composite gasket's a little bit thicker, so if there was a slight warpage or something that's a little just slightly untrue about this, it's going to take up the difference on that. So that's good. We also cleaned up around where our up pipe seats right here. Yeah, it's got some corrosion out here, but the pipe just seats about an 1/8 inch down on there, so all that's fine. We cleaned up our surface area on all of our gasket mating surfaces there, all cleaned up. And you don't want to use something that's going to take material away on this. So what I use is, I just use a die grinder with a small wire wheel on it. That's not going to remove any material or metal. It's not throwing any sparks or nothing, so we're not removing nothing. I had a right angle one of these and I forgot I had tore it up. I need to go buy another one. This one still fits in there and works, but right angle works better. So now we got an injector coming for another truck. We're waiting on that gasket. The new bolt kit is here for that. We're all cleaned up and prepped, ready to go back together. So now I'm just gonna sit here and drink one of these because it's like 4:30, so it's the end of the day, it's beer 30. We're gonna wait on parts and then we'll throw this together. All right, here's our new gasket here. You can see that ring that I was talking about. It helps for sealing. I think this is the best gasket to use on these, honestly. And I know some people say, hey, just use high temp silicone just around here, the orange high temp. I don't like trusting that. I like the idea of having a gasket here. Gives you something to work out any abnormalities you have in your manifold also. There's your part number, MS96833. Here's your bolt kit. You will need 2 of these if you're doing both sides. 03419. That is Dorman. It's a bolt, like I said. It's okay to use hard parts from them. Don't use oil coolers, electrical parts, stuff like that. Just stuff like this, that's okay. Anyways, I'm gonna get this put on there and get started. One more thing I meant to mention here for y'all. If you look, all the holes are big except for this one right here, which is your second one from the back. Start with that hole. Makes it a lot easier for locating these because it's not a big rounded hole. So you don't have your bolt in here flopping around. And it fits nice and snug in this one. It makes locating it easier. Just food for thought. All right, so I got the one bolt stuck through that one hole right here. And that's kind of how I keep everything lined up. Holding it like this until I get it in here. It keeps from kind of goofing everything up. Keeps that one hole lined up. And then you can kind of wiggle your gasket around when you go to start the next one. And just snug that one up like that. Now you can put all your other bolts in. All right, we got all of our bolts in, just snugged up. You can still wiggle the manifold just a little bit, but they're all snugged up evenly. There's your torque sequence right there for the exhaust manifold. 28 foot-pounds, follow that. So we're gonna get our torque wrench out now, start torquing. This is kind of a lot of fun to work your torque wrench in there. Some of them you're gonna have to do by feel. So just get it as close as you can to right, but follow the sequence. All our bolts are in, they're all torqued. Good luck getting your torque wrench in here. There's 2 that are damn near impossible to get to. But just do the best you can. Use your built-in wrist torque wrench if you have to. The important thing is following the sequence and feel them all, make sure you get them even. All right, we got our bolts in right there for our up pipe, hand tight. Those go to 20 foot-pounds, so I'm gonna torque those now, and you can get a torque wrench on these, so don't worry about that. So I'm gonna torque these real quick, and then we'll be ready to put our fender liner in and go drive this thing. All right, good to go. Torque to 20 foot-pounds all together. Nice and neat and clean, nice install. We're gonna throw the fender liner in. Remember, 7/32, 8mm, 8mm. You're supposed to have 8mm here, they're missing. I'm gonna see if I got some in my bucket of factory bolts. Vacuum canister goes back here. Should have 311s on it. This only has 2. So anyways, and if you got some wires flopping around, maybe do something on them. Don't forget your dipstick either. But she's all fixed. No more exhaust leak. We took her down the interstate, wound her up to 80, no problems. Did great. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the video on knocking out this exhaust manifold leak on the 6.0. If you got that squealing sound and you feel like it's very distinctively low right-hand side or very low left-hand side, check out that exhaust manifold, look at it. A lot of these trucks have a little bit of oily residue on those heads anyways, just because it is what it is. So if you see one that's extremely dry, look like there's a lot of soot and stuff blown on that oil, that residue, diesel, whatever that's on your head there, check out that exhaust manifold gasket. It's not a difficult job to replace. Driver's side isn't much different. Take the inner fender well out. You can get to a lot of the bottom bolts on the bottom and do all the top bolts on the top, pull the manifold out over the frame rail there. It's not hard to do. Not expensive. That Felpro gasket, I really like that one. I really believe in that one a whole lot. I like that better than the MLS gasket. I think it gives you more to seal up if there is some kind of abnormality or a little bit of warpage or whatever with your exhaust manifold. So check that out. Check out other content on the channel here. Check us out at automaticgarage.com, Instagram, Facebook, Rumble. We appreciate y'all watching. We just hit 10,000 subscribers. I would have never thought that whatever it was, 3.5 years ago when I started this journey, that we'd be at 10,000 subscribers now. Got a lot of video, a lot of content coming. We got the little Mini Cooper here that I got for dirt cheap. We're gonna do some more stuff to it, have some fun with it. I know it's not a diesel, but it's still kind of cool. We got the old red F100 right here, waiting on motor to get back from the machine shop. Get ready to knock an injector out on this 6.0 tomorrow. We're gonna do a transmission flush. It's got gold coolant in it. So we're gonna get rid of that gold coolant in that one also. But anyways, y'all check the channel out. We appreciate y'all watching. Holla at y'all later.